Yo, what's up guys? Joe here, hope all is well. Welcome to the most powerful $1,600 gaming PC you can build in 2025. And yes, it did cost us $1,600. We're going to be using the newly released RX 9070 XT by AMD, a great graphics card for the price. We're going to be putting this build to the test against 1440p at the end of this video, so make sure to stay tuned for that to see how this build performs. Now, if you're new to the channel, we're going to be doing a complete beginner guide from start to finish. So if you've never built a gaming PC before, you're in good hands. I got you. I have today's build right in front of me. Really proud of what we've built here today. So let's not waste any time and let's just jump right into it. Okay, so first, our motherboard. We are going with an ASROCK motherboard. This is the LIVEMIXER. This motherboard's unique. It's rocking the B650 chipset. We're going with an AM5 processor, obviously. ATX form factor. Let's just open it up. Like I mentioned, right? Black and red color theme for our build here today. Well, orange too. Look at this, guys. Look at this motherboard. It's awesome. Boom. Look at that, guys. It's got a graffiti theme. Orange, yellow, white. I'm gonna undo the M.2 SSD. Underneath here, we have two M.2 slots and we have a third M.2 slot right here. So that's good. A lot of support there. 3 M.2 SSDs. But look at that. That is a crap ton of USB ports, guys. 13 USB ports. Like, come on. That's a crap ton of USB. It's called the LIVEMIXER because they market this board for, well, streamers. So if this board is out of stock or you just don't like the colorway, this is the other board I would recommend. This is also the B650 chipset. So it's the same thing as this motherboard, but this one has built-in Wi-Fi and it's always going to be in stock, and this is also a good price. The Asus Prime B650 plus Wi-Fi. Whatever B650 ATX motherboard you get, you can follow along to this guide still. Inside of here, we're going to want to get out just the M.2 screw for our SSD, just one. Our CPU of choice, the Ryzen 5 9600X. We used the CPU in the past build, the 5070 Ti build. This CPU is going to work great with our RX 9070 XT. It's going to help us get high GPU utilization with our graphics card. This CPU is also good for editing and streaming. This build will get the job done in those avenues as well. Also, because we're on the AM5 platform, you will be future-proof with this build. Feel free to upgrade to a more beefier CPU in the future. To install this guy, we want to get this lever and pull it to the side and lift it all the way up. Then we're gonna lift this cover up. Now let's get our CPU out. So if we take a close look at our 9600X, you're gonna see a golden arrow on the top left side of it. This is important because we're gonna line up this arrow with the arrow on our CPU socket, which is also on the top left. The arrow is here, and you can also find the arrow here on this cover. Now when putting in your CPU, you always wanna just drop it into place. You never wanna push your CPU into the socket because you can bend the pins on the socket. So we're just gonna hover it over and let it drop. There we go. Return this back to its original position, and then we bring the lever down, which is gonna secure our CPU. And you tuck it in right there. Now, when you're pulling this down, you're gonna feel pressure. This is normal, guys. You're not breaking anything. You need this to secure the CPU. Now you're ready to install your cooler, but we're gonna be installing an optional part. This is a contact frame. This is totally optional, guys, so you don't have to do this. If you choose not to use a contact frame, you could skip ahead to the cooler installation. A contact frame can promote the longevity of your CPU. It can also potentially lower temps by a bit. So it comes with a screw. So we're gonna be using the included screwdriver to undo these 4 screws. So let's go ahead and lift this back up. You can leave your CPU in there. You don't have to take it out. Let's go ahead and undo these 4 screws. We then lift this thing straight up, and now we simply get the contact frame over the CPU. Now we're going to be using the included screws that came with the contact frame. When we're tightening this down, we want to do it with even pressure. So we're going to do a few turns, then switch to the screw across, do a few turns. Now the other 2 screws, a few turns, a few turns. And we're gonna keep doing that until our screwdriver stops on all 4 screws. And then once our screwdriver has stopped, now we're gonna put it in and do one final turn to torque it down. Just like that. It's gonna be nice and secure. Bam, bam. Now look at the night and day difference, guys. I mean, you guys be the judge. Now it's time to install our cooler. This is a 3-fan AIO liquid cooler, the FX360 INF by ID Cooling. I've used this cooler in the past, and it gives us great cooling performance at a good price. These are 320mm fans, and they do have ARGB lighting, and the fans are already pre-installed for us on the radiator, so less work for us. The pump right here has the infinity mirror effect, and the logo lights up, and you can also change colors of it. It's ARGB as well. And here is the accessories box. So we're going to be getting some tools out of the toolbox. We're going to want to get out our thermal paste, our bag that has our thumb screws and standoffs. And then there's a total of 3 different brackets. We're gonna get the smallest ones. This one right here is the shortest for AM5. These 2 long ones we're not using. And then this is to cable manage the hoses of the AIO. Last, this bag of screws, which is to secure the radiator to our case. We're using a normal P1 screwdriver. We're gonna undo all 4 screws to remove these 2 attachments. Now the bag with the standoffs and thumb screws. When looking at the standoffs, you're gonna see that one side is completely flat. The other side is indented right there in the middle. This is the side that we're going to face down on our motherboard, and it's gonna leave an opening so this standoff can then secure all the way down. Tighten it as much as you can with your fingers. Now do the same thing for the other 3. Next, we're gonna get our attachments. You wanna make sure that the screw thread is facing up and that this is pointing towards the CPU. So we're gonna put this one on the bottom pointing towards the CPU, for the one on top pointing towards the CPU. And now we secure these 2 with the thumb screws. And we secure it with the screwdriver. Now let's go ahead and pretend that our motherboard is inside our case right now. I'm gonna show you guys how we're gonna be mounting the AIO inside of the case. So we're gonna have the radiator up here on top of the case. And the way we're gonna be mounting the pump of the AIO is like this. As you can see, the hoses are nice and clean like this. Depending on what AIO cooler you decide to go with, you might have the hoses on the other side. So if we turn around our pump, first be sure to remove the protective film back here. We're gonna put a pea-sized amount of thermal paste in the middle of our CPU. When it comes to applying the thermal paste, it's okay if you overshoot it, but not so much if you undershoot the quantity of thermal paste. If you put too little thermal paste, it's not gonna spread out and cover the entire CPU, leading to not the best cooling performance. If you put too much thermal paste, you're definitely gonna cover the whole CPU. The only con is then you're gonna have extra spillage of thermal paste on the side that you're gonna have to clean up if you ever upgrade to a new CPU or just decide to change your thermal paste. So this is good. This is gonna cover our whole CPU. Just a nice fat pea-sized amount of paste in the middle. So now we're gonna attach these 2 points of our pump to the 2 screw threads on the attachments. So now what I like to do is go ahead and go down here so I have a good view. So as I'm laying this down, I'm lining it up with the 2 points. I'm laying it down evenly. There we go. And we're going to secure each of the screws just a little bit, not all the way. So first I'm gonna get the first one to attach a little bit, and now moving on to the one across. There we go. And we got that one to secure a little bit. The reason why you don't want to tighten one too much right in the beginning is because then the other side is going to lift up too high. You're going to have to put a lot of pressure to then get this one to secure. Like this, we get both sides attached with no trouble at all. And then we're securing the base of the cooler onto the CPU with even pressure. So now to keep securing it down with even pressure, we're going to secure each side a little bit, little by little. So a little bit on this side, a little bit on this side, and we're just going to keep switching. And there we go. It has a safety on there, so you can't over tighten it. Once your screwdriver stops, you've tightened it all the way. Now the wiring. First, I'm gonna remove all the metal ties. You wanna remove all the metal ties of every component, including your PC case, because these metal ties have metal in them. It could touch something while your PC's on and short something. You definitely don't want that. They're also just cheap quality. Get rid of the metal ties. Now to go over the cables, very simple. Our pump has 2 cables right here. One is to connect the pump to the motherboard, and one is for the lighting of our infinity mirror right here. Now for the 3 fans of our radiator, they're already all connected in a daisy chain system to this cable right here, which consists of a 4-pin fan cable and a 3-pin ARGB cable. We have our 3-pin fan cable. So right here, we have an input that's called CPU fan 2/WP. WP stands for water pump, so we're gonna hook it up to this one. This cable is going to hook up all the way to the right side of this. And then there will be an extra pin on the left. That's fine. Now for the lighting of the infinity mirror on our pump, we're going to need to find a 3-pin ARGB header. And there is 2 right here. So either one of these is fine. With the pin on the header that has an arrow is right here on the bottom. And for the other header, the arrow is also right here on the bottom. So we're going to line it up with the arrow here on the bottom to either of these ports. And now we're going to connect the 4-pin fan cable first into this fan input right here. This one is labeled CPU fan. We're gonna hook it up. right there. That one will cover up all 4 pins of that header. And now for the lighting of the 3 fans, it's also a 3-pin ARGB cable, and we're going to be hooking it up to the daisy chain system of the lighting of the infinity mirror. So this is the cable we just plugged in, right? Here's the other end to continue a daisy chain system. We're going to remove this cover, revealing pins, and that's how we're going to be hooking it up, lining up arrow to arrow the daisy chain system of the infinity mirror lighting to the lighting of our 3 fan. Boom, just like that, guys. So now the lighting of the infinity mirror and our 3 fans are all hooked up to this 3-pin ARGB header right here on our motherboard. Okay, easy. Now the installation of our RAM. This is a G.SKILL Trident Z5 Neo RGB 32GB kit at 6000 megahertz. Let's get these guys open. These are some good looking RAM sticks. They have nice finishes on them. Unique looking RAM, and of course the top lights up and it's fully controllable as far as the lighting you want to choose for our RAM sticks. So yeah, these are gonna look sick in there. We're gonna be installing our RAM into the 2nd and 4th slots so our RAM could run in dual channel. So go ahead and pull back the levers of the 2nd and 4th slot. Now when inserting your RAM, it only goes in one way. You want to make sure you line up the indent of the RAM right here with the part on the RAM slot that's not indented right here. We're going to get our RAM into place, and once you have it in, push down with both thumbs equal force. The RAM's going to go straight all the way in, and both of these levers are going to lift back up. And now we do the same thing for the 2nd. Get it into place, push it all the way down. Just like that. And it's looking really good so far. I'll link these G.SKILL RAM sticks in the video's description. Now the installation of our storage. 1TB M.2 SSD by Crucial. This is the P310. It's a Gen 4 M.2 SSD that's super speedy. It has a read of 7100 megabytes per second. We're gonna set it to the side for now. And now you're gonna wanna get a smaller P0 screwdriver, and we're gonna undo the 2 screws in here. So the P1 is just the normal size screwdriver. P0 is the one that's smaller than that. I'll go ahead and link this electric screwdriver in the video description. All right, and then we remove the heatsink. And we're gonna put our SSD right into here. Put it in all the way, and it's gonna rest on the standoff. Before we put the heatsink back on, remove the protective film. And now we're just gonna put down the M.2, line up our heatsink points, and re-secure. Done. Now our motherboard is ready to be installed inside our case. This is my first time using this one. This is the Montech King 95 Pro. So because the motherboard has graffiti on it, we added it to the case, thanks to my cousin. Up here, this is all hand drawn by him. Right here, it says take the loot. Right here, just crater all sick in the front. And of course, we have to put frag it up on there. And then in the front right here, crater with the motherboard's colors. There's a beefy case, guys. It comes included with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pre-installed fans. 3 on the bottom, 2 on the side right here, and then 1 exhaust fan back here. And they all have ARGB lighting in a ring effect around the fan, so the fans are gonna look sick. We're gonna use black and red power cables in this build, and a symbiote suit Spider-Man. I'm gonna get all the panels off. This case also comes in black and blue and white, so this one's offered in a lot of colorways. If you don't fancy this style case, I'm gonna link a second case option in the video description. I do want to show you guys the back panel though. Like, look at all the airflow this case has. All this is vented. The power supply is gonna go back here like this. And this panel comes off too. We're taking off everything. The motherboard we're using is the ATX form factor, and the layout of the standoffs inside our case are already in the ATX layout. So we don't need to add or remove any standoffs. We're ready to install our board. So we can hold our motherboard from the pump, and then we just use our other hand to hold the radiator. So I'm gonna lay our radiator right here. You wanna make sure that you line up the motherboard ports back here on the back side of the case. And there we go. Got it lined up back there. Let me show you guys how it looks. So yeah, there it is, guys. We just lined it up right here. The exhaust fan of your case, you wanna make sure that the cables of that fan weren't trapped under the motherboard either, and they're not. They're up here above the motherboard. And there we go. I just scooted our motherboard up a little bit, and now it's lined up with all the 9 standoffs. So now we secure our motherboard to the case with 9 screws that came included with the case. Usually the screws are just inside of the case, but this case came with a big old box of accessories. You can check out the instruction manual of the case that'll go over more of its features. These are extra accessories for the features of the case that we're not going to be using. All right, guys, check it out. It says SSD/motherboard screw, 18 pieces. We're going to be using these screws. I'm going to get this bag out, and I'm going to secure all 9 points. We're going to go ahead and fast forward through this, and then at the end we'll review which ones we secured. We secured 3 at the top, here, here, and here, circled red. Then 3 in the middle, here, here, and here. And 3 on the bottom, here, here, and here. This motherboard had another mount right there, but it doesn't matter. You don't have to put that one. 9 is enough. Now, before we mount our radiator up here on top of the case, we're going to connect our CPU power cable right here, because the radiator is gonna sit up here and it's gonna cover the top ports of our motherboard. So it's gonna be really annoying to hook up these CPU power cables up here with the radiator in our way. You're gonna have like no clearance. That means time to go over our power supply. This is an 850 watt gold rated power supply by Delgado. This is a fully modular power supply, which means none of the cables are connected to it. We're only gonna hook up the cables we need, so it's gonna be a cleaner cable management within our build. Now you can use a 750 watt power supply with the RX 97 XT. That is its minimal requirement, but 850 watts is then gonna support future upgrades of your build. So if you ever wanna upgrade to an even beefier CPU and beefier graphics card, it's just better to go with an 850 watt power supply right off the bat. That's gonna make it future proof. So you're gonna wanna get 2 CPU power cables, and they're both labeled right here, CPU. There's 2 sides of the CPU cable. So one of the ends is labeled CPU. This is the side that's gonna plug into the power supply. So this other end of the cable that splits into 2 pieces, this is the side we're gonna hook up to the motherboard. You want these clips right here to clip back here. So line it up straight and push it in all the way. You want to make sure this cable goes in all the way down and that it clips back here. And now we do the same thing for the second cable. So we line it up and push it in all the way. And there we go. We're now going to get both of these cables and route them to the back of the case. And there we go. All right, guys, now we're ready to secure our radiator. So now before we get our radiator up here, let's go ahead and route all the cables of the fans and the pump to the back of the case as well. We're just gonna get them to the back of the case through here. All right. I'm just gonna lay our radiator down. So here's the bag of screws that came with the cooler. Now we're gonna line up the points of the radiator with the case. I'm gonna secure All right, guys, done. Fully attached with 12 screws. So now let's set this up. Now it's time to prep our power supply. First cable we're gonna be hooking up is our big 24 pin. You can't miss it. So the end that's the widest, this one right here, is the one that plugs into the power supply. So we're gonna plug it into where it says 28 pin and make sure it goes in all the way down, that it clips in. This other end is the 24 pin side. Next is our PCIe cable. On one of its ends, it's labeled PCIe. This is the end that plugs into the power supply. We're gonna plug it right here where it says PCIe. This is the power cable for our graphics card, the RX 97 XT. Now we're gonna be hooking up a second PCIe cable up here where it also says PCIe. Plug it in all the way and make sure it clips in. Next, we're gonna locate a SATA power cable. The SATA power cable has connectors like this. This is going to power the lighting of our case. So for the SATA power cable, it's gonna have a bunch of SATA plugs on the single cable, but the only plug that's different is the one at the very end of the cable. Right here, it's a 6-pin cable, and that's going to plug in anywhere right here where it says IDE/SATA. Just gonna plug it in the middle, and it's gonna clip in all the way. And right here is where we wired our 2 CPU power cables. So here they are, and we're gonna plug this into right here where it's labeled CPU. The first one and the second one. Now we're ready to mount our power supply inside of our case. It's gonna go right here. We're gonna first remove this back panel that is secured with 4 screws to make more room for us when we're working back here. Just like that. And now it reveals the whole back side of the case. So we're going to put our power supply in through here like this, and just have it sit into place. Now it's very important that our fan is facing this way out towards our case. Power supply comes with the 4 screws to secure it back here, but we're gonna be using custom red thumb screws to add more aesthetic brownie points to our build. So again, this is totally optional. This is only for looks, guys. I'll link these in the video description if you are interested in these screws. Definitely makes our build look even higher quality. Very good, very good. All right, our power supply is nice and secure. Now for our power cables, this is the big 24 pin one that would hook up in the front of our build and be on display, but we do not want that. We're gonna be using our beautiful Crater custom power supply extensions. So we're gonna hook up this end of the 24 pin, and instead of hooking it up to the motherboard, we're going to hook it up to our extension cable. Make sure it goes in all the way. And now this end is gonna hook up to the motherboard instead. And right here we have our 2 PCIe cables that are gonna power our graphics card. So for both of these cables, we're only gonna be hooking up one side of it to our actual graphics card. So as you can see, for graphics card power cables, it's split 6+2. If it was split 4+4 instead, that's a CPU power cable, guys. The reason I say that is because when you're trying to find the correct extension, you also want to find an 8-pin extension cable that also splits 6+2. So now the other end of that is where we're going to hook up our PCIe Express power cable from the power supply to the extension, line it up straight, plug it in all the way. And now this is going to hook up to our graphics card instead. And then now here's our second PCIe power cable, aka graphics card power cable. And again, this end to the correct extension cable, the exact same thing as we did for the first one. Line it up straight, plug it in all the way, guys. That's simply for aesthetics, guys. Totally optional. Link in the video description if you're interested in that. Okay, look. So this right here has all the fans of the case and the lighting of the fans of the case hooked up to the fan controller. That's a crazy fan controller right there. So if we look down here, right here, this is how we're going to give the fan controller and the lighting power. It's going to be through these two SATA cables. So far, so good, guys. Our build is coming out great. We're almost done. Now it's time to connect our cables. We break down the cables into 3 groups. The first group of cables is all our case cables from the case that connect things like our power button and all the rest of the buttons of the case to the motherboard. Our second group of cables is all our fans and our lighting of our build. And then our third and final group of cables is all our power cables from the power supply that are going to power everything. First case cable we're plugging in is our HD audio cable. We're going to wire this through the bottom of the power supply right here, and then under here, where we're then going to wire it through here on the bottom left side of our motherboard. Our HD audio cable only goes in one way. We're going to plug this in with the HD audio text facing up. This input right here at the far left. So line it up straight and plug it in all the way. That cable connects the headphone and microphone jack of the case to the motherboard. Next is our F panel cable. We're gonna wire this cable through the middle bottom side of our case right here. Our F panel cable also only goes in one way. We're gonna plug this cable in with the F panel text facing up. And this is gonna plug all the way over here to the far right. Line it up straight, plug it in all the way. The F panel cable connects the power button and the reset switch of the case to the motherboard. Now our USB 3 cable. We will wire this through here. Taking a close look at our USB 3 cable, one side has a hump on it, this side right here. Here's our USB 3 input and the opening for the hump is right here. So we're gonna line up the hump with this side, line it up straight, and then push all the way in. There we go, it's gonna clip right in. That cable connects the USB 3 ports of the case to the motherboard. Next is our Type-C cable. Wiring this right on top of the USB 3 cable, and our Type-C cable only goes in one way into here. So when you put it in, if it doesn't go in all the way, like mine, just flip it over and then it will go in all the way. That's for our Type-C input of the case. Connects it to the motherboard. And that's it for our case cables. Moving on to our second group of cables, our fans and our lighting. So let's go ahead and start with our fan controller. So first off, let's give our fan controller power. So we're gonna locate these two SATA cables down here, and we're gonna get our SATA power cable from our power supply. And we're simply gonna hook up both of these to this cable. Just gonna line it up, plug it in all the way, get another end of this cable, line it up, plug it in all the way. There we go. We just gave power to our fan controller and the lighting. And now we are left with these two cables right here. So the first is a 4-pin cable. It's going to connect all the fans of the case to the motherboard. And second is our 3-pin ARGB cable, which is going to connect all the lighting of the fans and of the case to the motherboard. So now over here, we're going to look for a system fan header. Right here, there's 3. These are all chassis fan inputs. So either of these 3 will work. So we're going to wire the 4-pin fan cable of the fan controller through the bottom middle of the case. And we're going to plug it in right here into the first chassis fan input. And there we go, guys. So look like that. So now for the lighting of our fan controller, we can actually hook this up to the daisy chain system of our cooler if we really wanted to. It's right here. Just remove the cover and there's the pins. But since our motherboard has more 3-pin ARGB headers, I'm gonna hook this up to there instead so it can have its own controller. So taking a look back up here on the top right of our motherboard, this is where we hooked up the lighting of our cooler. Here we have our extra 3-pin ARGB input. So let's wire the 3-pin ARGB cable of the fan controller through the top of the case right here, and we're gonna line up the arrow of this cable on the bottom right there with the arrow that's so tiny. It's super small, guys, but it is there. It's that white little point, arrow to arrow. Line it up and hook it right in. Now, totally optional, you don't have to do this. We're gonna be installing our Crater ARGB 5-volt 3-pin kit. You can pick these up on Amazon. They will be linked in the video description. If you pick this up, you're supporting the channel and me personally, and for that, I thank you a lot, guys, and a 5-star review, that would mean the world to me. We're gonna be putting the strips along the bottom of the case like this. I'm not gonna lie, this case has a lot of fans that give off light, so you don't really need these, but it's still gonna look cool. It's gonna add even more light inside, more color options for us to play around with. So our kit comes with 2 fully flexible ARGB strips, cool little sticker, and then we secure the strips with these strong magnetic attachments. So the way we connect these is that both of the strips are connected together in a daisy chain system, awesome. And then the other end has a 3-pin ARGB connector, just like all the other lighting devices that we've been doing in our build here today. So we're gonna hook this up to the motherboard, and then that's it. So we place a single strip straight down here. It's nice and secure with the strong magnetic attachments, and then the cable is tucked alongside right here through this part of the case to here. And I'm going to be hooking this up to the daisy chain of our cooler lighting, which is up here. Remove the cover, arrow to arrow, done. And now we arrive to our third and final group of cables, our power cables. First, our big 24-pin power cable. We're gonna wire this cable through here. And here is where we're gonna hook it up. You want the clip of this cable to clip back here, guys. So we're gonna line it up straight, nice and straight, and then push in all the way. Make sure this cable goes in all the way and that it clips. And it should look like that. And that cable looks beautiful. And now our final two cables are to power our graphics card, for our graphics card of choice. So getting an RX 9070 XT right now at a good price is a bit of a mission. MSRP 600, obviously that's bull. Then no one's selling it for 600. That's just what they put. If we go on Amazon right now, not too many options. Everything's like over $1,000. Stock is not good. If we head over to eBay, you can pick one up for about 900 bucks. A little better than Amazon at the moment, but still pretty overpriced. And your best bet right now is going to be Newegg.com. We scroll up here, they have all their cards listed at normal prices. See, this is what I'm talking about right here, $730. But yes, everything is out of stock. They just do that on purpose because when they do sell their graphics cards, they bundle them. If we take a look at some of the bundles, this one's more expensive because it comes bundled with a 520 Hz 1080p monitor, which is appropriate to pair with this card. But you may already have a monitor, right? This one is cheaper. It comes bundled with a motherboard. And again, this is an appropriate combo right here. This is an AM5 motherboard, just like what we're using here today. It will be compatible with the 9600X CPU or any other AM5 CPU. And again, normal price for the motherboard, pretty good, $190. So I would definitely recommend you go pick up this bundle. This would be the best one. You're paying normal prices. You're not being forced to buy a monitor that you may or may not want. And I will link these Newegg bundles in the video description as well. That's what I recommend though. That's your best bet. That's how I got the card. I actually got it a whole month ago, pretty much, March 11th. And I got my card again for $730. That's why that's the price we're using in this build. So this was a good bundle as well, guys. Look, I'll even show you guys. I just bought the 5090. Barely bought my 5090. Very late to the party. But I have to do a 5090 build for you guys, like, come on. And it's gonna be a full build guide. Anyways, back into the build. We went with a SAPPHIRE Pulse RX 9070 XT. Let's get this open. All right. Oh, snap. This backplate is sick, guys. Nice, high quality. Now let's remove all the protective film. Dang, they really wedged this in there. I mean, I like it. I like that it's all open right here because then it's more unique. It looks sick. Look at the front. This was going to be in the front of our build. Go ahead and check out the accessories box. We didn't even bother. What's in here? Oh, it's a GPU support. You know what, guys? I think we're going to have to use this, actually. All right, I'll show you guys how to install this, too. So we want to make room for our card by removing 3 whole brackets, starting with the second one. Now we're going to pull the lever of the PCI slot all the way back. Now we're gonna line up our card straight with our PCI slot. So get it into place. And now just like the RAM sticks, we're just gonna push it in. Make sure you get it in all the way. And now lever is gonna clip back up. Oh guys, I just got an idea. See how there's 2 screws here? This part comes off. So if we took this part off and spray painted this part, the color of the motherboard, then that would make the card match the board and it would look sick. That'd be awesome. So now to install our GPU support, we're now gonna remove another bracket underneath our card. We're not gonna take off the bracket. We're just removing the screw of the bracket. So we just removed this screw right here. And we did that because we're gonna be using that for the GPU support. So I'm gonna hold the GPU support one hand and then secure it in. All right, I'm not gonna tighten that screw all the way. I wanna get the other 2 screws in first. All right, guys, so now it's a matter of securing the final 3 screws for our graphics card and the last one. And now this right here, we undo this and then you just push this up to lift up the card accordingly. So let me go ahead and just push it up and tighten this. And there we go, guys. Our card is nice and supported. Now time to hook up the power. Back here in the bottom of our case, that little opening right there in the bottom, we wired the first power cable through there and make sure it clips in all the way to our card. I'll line it up straight, plug it in all the way. Before I wire the cable, I'm just gonna bend it how I want it. And now let's wire this one through the box. Line it up straight, plug it in all the way. Make sure it goes in all the way. And now we comb the cables. And with this case, very important that these cables are not touching this fan right here. Look, if you spin it, you hear a sound, that's no good. And that fan's not gonna be able to spin. So you have to lift the cables up more, pull the cables back, whatever you have to do to make sure this cable does not touch the fan. And there we go. Give it a nice little spin. There, it's no longer touching. The cable still looks clean. We did it, guys. Our build is complete. If you're following along, congratulations. Now, cue the time lapse. We gotta slap on all the paddles, turn it on for the first time. All right, guys, let's enjoy the beautiful peel together. Plugging in the power. Oh, the freaking crater graffiti right there looks so clean, man. All right, guys, we did it. This build is awesome. Time to put this build to the test at 1440p. We're about to click some heads. We're gonna frag it up on this build. If you're interested in other build guides, be sure to check out the channel Creator. We cover all types of price points, always posting new build guides. All parts used for this build are linked in the video description. Let me know what you guys think of this build. Are you gonna build this one? Are you gonna change some parts, build something similar? Let me know. Support your boy on Amazon Creator, ARGB strips, linked in the video description. And thanks for coming and chilling with me. Now, before we frag it up, first.
Hey, listen up and listen up good. You're not ready to go just yet. You need to install Windows. Windows can be a pretty price, but not anymore. Thanks to fragitup.shop, you'll be fragging it up in no time. Pick up Windows 11 Pro with an OEM activation key for only 25 bucks. Shipping from the US of A. Go pick it up right now at fragitup.shop. That's an order, soldier! Now you will need to watch this video. Here you will learn how to install Windows and all drivers for your new rig, plus some other important tips as well. The video will be linked in the description. What are you waiting for? Get back out there, soldier!
We're going to be testing out more than one settings preset, but the first settings we're going to use is AMD Radeon Anti-Lag 2 is on. We have FSR off, frame generation's off, and here are the rest of the settings. And then for our FOV, that's to the max 120. So this is the first settings we're going to try. Then later we're going to try it with frame gen on and FSR on. Oh, we missed them. He ran right into our trap card. All right, average FPS so far 157. Now we're going to turn on AMD frame gen and FSR. AMD frame generation on, upscaling FSR 3, and we're gonna set it to always the highest quality. So our FPS goes into the 300s with this on. Now I'm gonna change FSR to native and see how that makes it better. See how much our frames go down. Okay, we're gonna change FSR to native, apply. What's the under?
Enemy dropping into the AO.
Oh my god, airstrike on us. Bro, that guy wants us dead. That guy's mean. We're gonna go for that guy. We're stinging up on that guy. That's what you get. That's called revenge, bro. That's why you don't mess with people. Ooh, this guy's coming for me, isn't he?
the road by.
Oh, that was really fun, guys. GPU utilization stayed high. The picture was sharp at native. We got a lot of frames. That was super awesome. Amazing. Very pleased with the RX 9070 XT Call of Duty Warzone performance. Woo! We won, guys. All right, let's keep it moving. Native 1440p resolution. We're using performance mode, and everything right here is set to epic and high.
Yep, I see him. Shoot him.
I swear I saw someone on our right.
Oh, yep, you're right. No shield.
1440p. Here's the graphics quality. Step aside. Watch this ace. All I need is a knob. AMD anti-lag is enabled. Here are the rest of the settings. Native 1440p. So GPU utilization is very stable. It's right there at 80%. We have anti-lag enabled. AMD FSR set to quality. Everything is set to medium except view distance and textures are set to epic. You guys could have that. GPU utilization, not bad. We're in the high 80s for the most part. Native 1440p resolution, FOV is set to 90. All the settings are set to the medium preset except texture quality. We bumped that up to ultra. There's one guy. Oh, he's next. We're gonna get it? Nope, that guy died by the tank. When we won! Native 1440p res. AMD anti-lag 2 is enabled. Here's the rest of the settings. Well, the highest FPS for Apex is 300, and it is holding it up there at 300. Very, very stable. Nice job. Average FPS, guys, 290. We're going to be playing at native 1440p. We only changed a couple things from the quick preset, like resolution scaling and frame gen are off. Film grain is off. And here, all these settings are set to the high preset. You guys were telling me to test more of the games without frame gen and upscaling, so that's what we've done. And at native 1440p resolution, these character models are looking real crispy. And the frame rate, we're at 136 average FPS so far. That's not bad at all. Stay there, don't move. We'll get him right here in this corner. Guy, but we need to get... Oh no. How did he... Oh my god. One hit. 1440p res, very high for texture resolution. Advanced graphics, medium and high settings. Guys, look how good the graphics are in this game. And this game came out so long ago on the Xbox 360 with half a gig of RAM, which is crazy. Now we're playing it, it's using 13 gigs of RAM and 6 gigs of video RAM. We're gonna be playing on native 1440p. Frame generation's off, FSR is off, and we have AMD anti-lag 2 on. And here are the rest of our settings. This game uses a lot of RAM, guys. 21 gigs of RAM. Temps are good. Gameplay's nice and smooth. Let's try to get this dub to finish those kills. Cool. (1440p) resolution, max FOV 90. Here are the graphic settings we're gonna be using. I got one. Damn, there was two there? There's two in front of me in bar. Never mind. Nice job. We were getting in the 300 FPSs. We're gonna be playing the game at native 1440p. Upscaling is off, frame gen is off. Graphic settings are set to the high preset. Let's swing around the city for a bit, and then I'll show you guys how much more FPS we're gonna get if we turn on frame gen. FPS actually goes higher when we're up here swinging. We go down here is when the FPS drops. All right, guys, now we're gonna turn it on. We have FSR set to quality and frame generation is on.
There's a locksmith up the street.
Ooh.
All of you guys are for one armor.
1440p resolution, native, and quality is set to ultra. All right, guys, our GPU utilization is staying right at 99%. We like to see that. And for native 1440p resolution, guys, look, this is some good performance we're getting. Average FPS 158, that's pretty good. That was an easy boss. 1440p res, we have ray tracing on, set to high. All the other settings are set pretty high as well. I almost crashed. Crap, I'm about to die. Oh my god, what happened? 1440p native graphics settings are set to the high preset. Rust performance is actually really good, above average. More than the usual 90 to 110 FPS. We're actually getting 140 FPS. Yeah, the Ryzen 5 9600X is doing good with the RX 9070 XT graphics card. This is for money, okay? 10 bucks. 1440p FOV 90. Graphics quality is set to high. AMD FSR 3.1 is set to quality. Ah! Oh my god, that scared me, bro. Yo, this game is using 24 gigs of RAM. Alright. Oh! GPU utilization up in the high 90s. Native 1440p resolution. And we have a mix of ultra and high settings with ambient occlusion turned off. We're using about 10 gigs of VRAM for Battlefield. Come on, boys, take A1. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Oh, crap. Oh, wait. Get his ass! What are you doing? Why are you trying to hide right there? Oh my god! 1440p resolution. Here are the rest of the settings. Oh no, you'll never take me alive.
You're gonna die.
I'm not gonna die.
You're gonna be fine, okay? Time up and rape him. Time up and rape him. Take his pants off. Take it to the attic.
1440p, we have texture quality on high. Here's the rest of the settings. Oh my god, I almost messed that up, dude. Okay, we won, and we got 1 kill. We'll take it. Damn it, he got sniped, bro. Am I the last one alive? Ooh. We waited too long! We are getting better at this game, though. Damn it. I'm healing, teammate. Wow. Let's see if we'll do better on defense. Haha. Oh no, they planted already. I'm gonna go for the flank. Ah, we shouldn't have lost that one. Oh my god, we won. Is it because I got good overnight, or is the 9070 XT just pumping out high, stable FPS? Native 1440p resolution. Here are the video settings. You're on the wrong side of town. You're on the wrong side of town. It has to be one shot. There he goes. Damn, you little warrior. Fun! Alright, we won. We gotta win next round and bring it home. Alright, we gotta at least land one headshot. Boom. Alright, I'm gonna make sure I don't die before getting at least one kill. Beautiful headshot. Ooh, another one.
And that's a wrap, guys. This build came out awesome. One of our best looking builds we've done yet, thanks to this awesome Montech King case. Closing thoughts, I want to speak about potential upgrades. First of all, the CPU. If you have a little more money to spend, I would recommend you go with a Ryzen 3DX CPU. It's going to squeeze more juice out of our graphics card, our RX 9070 XT. Now, our Ryzen 5 9600X CPU was still a good choice. We pumped out a lot of frames in a bunch of different games, as we just saw. But if you want to fully maximize certain games, you're going to need a beefier CPU, and the Ryzen X 3D CPUs are going to do that for you. They are, of course, a little more pricey, so if your budget does allow for it, definitely get that. But if not, you can upgrade to a beefier CPU down the line because you're future-proof. As far as our graphics card upgrade, we have an 850 watt power supply, so you can upgrade the card to a beefier card in the future if you choose to. Not that you're going to need to do that anytime soon. You have yourself a 9070 XT, very powerful card for 1080p gaming. It would go crazy. And for 1440p, we found out how it performed pretty good. Anyways, guys, stay safe out there, and I'll catch you guys in next week's build, a $1,000 1080p gaming PC using an RTX 4060 and a Ryzen 5 7600. All parts used for this build will be linked in the video description. Turn on bell notifications to be alerted for the next build. Peace.
Sisters like me, your mother